All right, Detroit. Now, NHL 21 drops on October 16th, according to the EA website that I am looking at right now. That is, of course, the special edition that always gives you a few days early access. We are in a very interesting point where, there's an old expression, poop or get off the pot. Now's the time. We've made the playoffs, we've had some deep runs, but at this point, we've hit the point where it could be argued that the best thing for me to wrap up NHL 20 is to start a new series for the next month and a half. And that could easily be done. And that's going to be done if people are sick of the Red Wings and are sick, of course, of the Senators series. And right now with Detroit, we're at the point where it's like, something needs to happen. So let's hope that something happens. And that it's not poop. This is the team to begin this season. Some changes to the chemistry. It is going to be Aiden Recchi alongside Justin Madsen and Brennan Othman. Second line of Willie Cashman, DeAndre Carlton, and Cameron Merritt. A third line of Ted Lehman, who gets dropped after really an unfortunate postseason showing. He is centered by Reed Neal alongside Hayden Fowler. And a fourth line that was called up during the postseason and did incredibly well in a short amount of time. Dallin Maldine, Cyrus Burish, and Reed Comrie. So we'll see what they can do. Defensively, it is similar perhaps to what you'd expect. I did forget to change some defensive player types, it would appear. But it is going to be Matthew Bales alongside Jamie Drysdale. So actually here, we're going to have to do that. I'm not going to restart this video or anything. We'll just do this really quickly. But it is going to be Matthew Bales alongside Jamie Drysdale. Khalil Suter will be with Angelo Delmas. Might as well just make Delmas a two-way. We're not going to get any kind of benefit out of an offensive, defensive situation. But here's the change. Jackson Gorin and Adam McInnes, of course, have made this team, and I'm excited to see what they can do. I mean, so many defensemen now at this point. It's a fucking shame that medium top four is just broken this year, because guys like Suter and Delmas, who would have been decent options for us in the past, they just don't improve no matter what the hell you do with them, apparently. At least I haven't been able to get them to improve throughout the course of this series. But still, with the defense now, it's worth taking a shot at trying some of these younger players instead of just relying on the likes of Kiki Vigilante or something like that, where it's just clearly not going to work. Now, as we edit over Matthew Bales here, another interesting thing to note, for those of you who did not see my NHL 21 trailer/information breakdown, make sure to check out that video. But this little feature right here is no longer going to be possible. I mentioned this on Twitter. But yeah, right here, editing player types from within franchise mode. Yeah, you can't do that anymore in 21. So this whole strategy to try and take advantage of being able to match, to get as much line chemistry as possible, that's not going to be an option anymore. So a series like this would be that much more difficult. Oh boy, as if it needed to be. Because you got to look at Adam McInnes. Interesting player for us, of course, where, a relatively high pick, but wasn't as good as we really needed him to be. So, it's not too bad of a situation, but it certainly could be better. So we'll get you a look at the defensive situation now. So this is +5. It's still going to be a -1 with Suter and Delmas. I actually guess I'm not going to be able to do that. And really, I guess it doesn't matter who we drop. It's going to have to be Delmas and Gorin, McInnes and Suter. Works for me. We'll give it a shot and see what happens. So that is the team. Let's get down to business, shall we? Let's see how this goes and whether or not this team is finally ready. Of course, I'm going to sim to the cutoff point here, and then we'll take a look at who is available in the upcoming draft and whether or not we have to worry about that draft, of course, has yet to be determined. But we'll find out in a second. So we will stop the simulation here. 6-1 in the preseason. Let's take a look at said draft class. And we will actually just double check here. I had a feeling I hadn't changed the scouts over either. Clearly forgot to do a couple of things, honestly. Normally I remember to change over some of the stuff at the end of a video, but I guess this was the one time that we managed to forget. So we'll change over the scouts and do, of course, nothing but OHL scouting. It's the way to go. And we shall see how this works out for us. We'll change over this Q option. And we should be good. So I'm hopeful. Hoping that this season goes well for us, you know? We've had some interesting series at this stage of NHL 20. Obviously, you know, it feels like NHL 20 has been out for 3 years because of what a year 2020 has been. As crazy as it is, and I was just thinking about this not that long ago, but it's like you look at, you know, you look at where we started with NHL 20 and the series that have happened. You know, NHL 20 started off this year with a draft of glory. It started off with the undrafted free agent only challenge that completely failed. We had the Florida Panthers franchise mode, the Nations United Russia, Millbury mode, San Jose, Los Angeles we've used this year as well. There was a short-term Winnipeg series, of course, that we did as well, our little test run. It's been a year. It has been a year as we almost have this changed over. It makes me think back like NHL 19 where it's like, oh yeah, we had an Edmonton franchise that was short-term, but you get the point. Goddamn, there's some series where it's just like, how the hell was it that long ago? But it's a thing. So one more or not, I'll hit the wrong button. Love to see that. Love to see that. I just wanted to look at the prospects that are available, but you know, maybe we won't. I went to the right spot. What am I talking about? Wrong spot. I'm losing it. I am losing my mind. That, just like that song, has ruined my life. God, that song. Where were you when I lose my mind? God damn, it's an awful song. Okay, so the scouts are set. Let's take a look at the draft class, or we will menu lag and look at player morale instead. Oh my God. Woo. Okay. So, locker room chemistry for the record. We have no natural leaders on this team at this point because the leaders that we do have, their confidence has clearly been shattered. And I can totally understand as to why. But here we go. OHL, the upcoming draft. We start off with the player from the Windsor Spitfires, Dan Winquist. So, you know, I don't expect that we will have a pick at that point in time, but, you know, as I continue to hit all the wrong buttons, he's available. North Bay, Alex Hughes, not available. Kitchener, Barry's not available to us. The Sioux is Mississauga, Niagara, Kingston, Sudbury, Peterborough, Barrie. Oh, God. Flint. Saginaw with Holden Linglet. A couple of Erie Otters here. Okay, I mean, the middle rounds might be okay, and then it just falls off the face. I don't even want to look. At this point, God, there's a Cademan too, which isn't even a real name. At this point, let's just go. Let's just go and see what happens in terms of the cavalry. Yeah, not quite arriving in time. Reinforcements will not be on the way. This team is this team. We've said that for a few seasons now. It's time to see if they can deliver. 92, 79, and an 80 are the grades. Will that translate to yet another strong regular season performance? I can only hope. Please. Oh, please. Goodness gracious. Here we go. We got this. I believe. Damn it. This is the time. This is the team. Please let that be the case. We have so many players here, too, that we're looking at where it's like, okay, Brennan Othman, was one that really stands out. Like, what was that playoff performance? Ted Lehman, what was that performance? Can we please do well at this stage and perform to as high of a level as you should? But unfortunately, we are off to one of the worst regular season starts that we've had in the past 5 years or so at this rate. So, not overly optimistic with a 3-5-1 start. We have a long way to go this season, but yeah, this team needs to do just a tad bit better. Please. We'll see what happens here. At 4-6-1, and still losing a little bit more than we prefer. Dead last in the Atlantic Division. 16 points back of the Bruins before that game against the Devils. Actually, it was before that game against Montreal. It had already registered the win against New Jersey. So we've won 3 out of 4 games in the past week. A win against the Islanders. Okay, we're surging a little bit. We beat Montreal for the second time in 8 days. Ottawa we lose to again. So apparently the Sens are going to continue to be a problem. 9-2 over Washington, 1-0 there. Okay, so clearly this team is showing signs of, being able to perform at a high level like we know that they can. 13-9-1, we've surged back into a playoff spot after 23 games. A long way to go. It's Cameron Merritt right now with the points. That's what I wanted to see. Merritt right now leading the way with this team. We won't change anything through December based off of the most recent results. We'll see how the team does, and then we will take it from there. So, see what we have here. Nothing to worry about there in terms of the draft class. Obviously, we'll just find players as we go along. But right now, 3 straight wins after getting crushed by Boston. Not a bad way to go. Bruins appear to just be a juggernaut right now this season. So we get 3 out of 4 points there to round out that week. So we're looking all right. I'll say, yeah, we're doing okay, ish. Oh boy, 5 losses in a row. Yikes! And just when you think this team's gonna find that consistency again, we start struggling down the stretch. 17-17-3. Is this the team that we have confidence in to make it? As you see Merritt, in the points, per game number dropping the way it has. Aiden Recchi, 15 goals, 24 points. It's okay, but it's not good enough. Justin Madsen, 27 points, not good enough. Othman on 27, it's okay, but not good enough. 26 there for Cashman. Carlton's looking okay. Merritt's been great for the most part. Lehman on 20 points. I guess for the most part, like across the board, the team's putting up points, but we don't have apparently any elite options. Bales is looking okay. Drysdale's looking okay. Delmas is fine. Goran's fine. I thought the defensive plus minuses would be brutal, but apparently not. Goaltending, that's the issue. At least one of them. Apparently I have auto-rotate off, so I have to change that. But Howard Lowe has a .902 save percentage. That is an issue, to say the least. So we will go all the way back over to auto-rotate goaltenders. We'll take it from there. And that'll get some games in there for Tristan Lennox where maybe he proves that he deserves a shot. I mean, Howard Lowe coming off of the best season of his career. He won a Vezina, for God's sakes. Can't believe that. It was like a .918 save percentage, and he wins the Vezina, but we'll see. I mean, maybe he turns it around here. We have had, we haven't had a season like this in a while. We've had that peace of mind normally up to this stage of a season. Once we hit January, where we're like, oh, okay, we're going to make the playoffs. It's just a matter of where. Right now, that's not a guarantee, as crazy as that is. Technically, under 500 now, 21-23 if you factor in combined losses. Lost 3 in a row. We're proving to be a very streaky team as well, which is also nerve-wracking and unsettling. Because you can't really, without that consistency, you don't obviously know what to expect. And simply have no idea, on a game-to-game basis, on a week-to-week basis, what's going to happen. 24-24 not where we want to be. There's nothing we can do about it. There's no trading. It's just the players that we have need to perform. And I talked about it, once we're locked in and once our core is clearly our core and that's the team that we're running with, we just have to hope that they deliver. And right now, I have never had less doubt in this team. You make it to the conference final, and now the season's going like this. I don't think I've ever had less confidence in this team. We've had worse teams where we knew we were going to be garbage, but now for a team that we know is capable of making it to the conference final, for us to be hanging around 500, up to this point, we've had a very good month so far before losing to Minnesota. We'll see if we lose a couple games in a row now after that, but never had less confidence in this club than I do right now. And we'll see, of course, how the rest of the season goes. So we are on 57 games, I believe, at this point in time. Still winning the vast majority of our games. Only lost twice this month. We have 3 games left in February. There's our 3rd loss. No big deal, really. It's Dallas and Anaheim that are up next, and we split those games. So 34, 25, and 3. Currently in a playoff spot, 8 points back of the Sabres, and on a better point pace than the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are just ahead of us. Cameron Merritt with 33 goals is still leading the way, but to look at the team now, Aiden Recchi, 39 points in 62 games. He's not a first-line talent. He's just not. He has a first-line shot, first-line puck skills. He's just not a first-line talent, and I can't explain it. He should be able to deliver better than that. Justin Madsen on 44 points is okay. 54 points for Brennan Othman. So Othman is at least delivering here. And now we look down at Cashman on 46 points. Fairly happy with that. Carlton's looking okay. Cameron Merritt's been spectacular as a sniper. Makes me wonder if we swap Merritt and Recchi, what exactly will happen. I forgot to change some player types. I just noticed Carlton and Cashman. I swore that I changed the player types. That I had gone through this. I swore that I had changed. Also known as I swore that I had changed player types. Apparently not. So we're not getting the best chemistry out of the team right now, as we could be. Interesting. Rather than worrying about it, Hayden Fowler's regressing, by the way. Oof. Rather than worrying about it, what we're going to do is we are going to mix and match a little bit. So I'm going to swap you two. And then I don't have a power forward now for this line. There we go. So power forward, playmaker, sniper, playmaker, power forward, sniper. Perfect. We'll see how this goes. And we'll look to change up player types in the future if we have to. As defensively, we're doing fine. Adam McGinnis takes way too many penalties. Makes me wonder if he has fighting as a preferential thing on. Howard Lowe's save percentage has improved. Tristan Lennox has been lights out when he has played. So what we're going to have to do, I want to do 2 things here. I'm not going to fully change up the player types, but I am probably going to base... the question is now, do I base what we do on line chemistry or player performance in the regular season? And I don't know the answer to that, because there's a couple of different ways to go without it, or to go about it, I should say, not to go without it. I can go without saving there. A couple of different ways to go about it where, what is the best formula, we'll say, for this team. And how much better would this team have been if I had remembered to optimize chemistry, which honestly I thought I did. I should have taken the defensive situation as a hint. What I want to do... He said to rarely. Jeez, I'm still going to put it to never. Jesus! I didn't see what his discipline was, but my God, I don't feel like it was that bad, in all honesty. But yeah, we will see what happens. Hoping for the best, but not entirely sure how it's going to go. Someone like Cameron Merritt's not exactly a great fit for that first line, but we'll see what he can do. So what I want to do here is make sure that Tristan Lennox gets some games in. So the next game that Howard Lowe loses, Tristan will be back in, and we're actually going to make sure that Tristan gets games in the back-to-back situations. And we're going to see if he can really make a push to potentially steal that starting job away from Howard Lowe, or at least make it interesting come playoff time. I would say go full like Leonard Fleury, but I don't want someone's agent accusing me of murdering their player. Wow, Tristan Lennox got lit up by Montreal. Okay. Beats Philadelphia, though. He's going to play Toronto here. And we'll see what happens. Wins 2 out of 3, so a decent little improvement. We find ourselves in the top 3 of the division, down to a .928 save percentage through 10 appearances. So we'll see what happens here against Nashville and against Buffalo. 5-2 win there for Howard Lowe. Buffalo is next. We beat them as well, which is huge. To beat a division rival that's been at the top of the standings in recent memory. Still there now. So another game here for Lowe against the LA Kings. He'll also play Vegas. We beat the Kings now 40-27-3. We've turned the page for sure. And Vegas is a 5-1 loss. So Lennox would be getting the opportunity anyway at this stage. But like I said, heading into the playoffs, we can decide, like, okay, just reward the players who have played the best and get the best chemistry out of it, or go for the best chemistry no matter what. Can be the game plan. As nice back-to-back wins there for Tristan Lennox. At this rate, he's going to play up until we have to play Florida. We've only dropped 1 point with him between the pipes, as we do lose outright to Toronto. A win here could clinch us a playoff spot, and indeed, there it is. So we had our doubts for a decent amount of time this season, but ultimately the team did find a way to come together and get the job done. Howard Lowe needs to make a damn good impression here for the last 6 games of this season, because Tristan Lennox is making a real push to be the starting goaltender for the playoffs. A real push. He has been fantastic. Nice 7-1 win there. The offense really showed up. 45 wins now on the season. 13-4. Jesus. How I wish you could look at box scores, but you're not allowed to, which is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. 5-0 win in the final game of the season. If we win, we have a chance to take home ice away from Buffalo. We'll see what happens. This really could go any number of ways. This game against Columbus, we lose in a shootout, and as a result, we are condemned to playing the Buffalo Sabres in the first round. The Bruins end up taking away the division title. Those teams are neck and neck for most of the season. We finish 3rd in the division, and we'll see whether or not that's a good thing or a bad thing as Philly and the 2 New York teams make it. Minnesota, Nashville, and St. Louis. Anaheim, Calgary, San Jose, the Couve, and Arizona. So we finished as the 9th best team in the NHL. Florida Panthers were in the basement. Goals for per game. We weren't at the top. We were a mid-table offense. We were towards the bottom? How the hell did I lose us? No, Jesus, wow, I skipped right over. We had the 3rd best, tied for the 3rd best offense in the league. I didn't expect us to be up that high, so I just kind of scrolled over it. Goals against is at a 2.59, which was also towards the bottom, relatively. So good offense, solid defense, and goaltending. Our power play percentage was 5th best in the league. Our penalty kill at an 82.8 was also pretty solid. So we don't have a top-notch defense and goaltending combo, but it's not bad, and our offense is honestly pretty solid. So I think, again, just like general scoring was way up for us, right? We didn't have an elite goal scorer. Well, an elite point producer. We have an elite goal scorer. Cameron Merritt was great. Brennan Othman was fantastic. That's, I think, a career high in goals for him. It is absolutely not. He hit 52 goals once. For some reason, I just always viewed him as more of a playmaker, but I mean, 500 goals, 552 assists. Over 1,000 points now in the career for Brennan Othman at just 32 years old. Carlton had a pretty good season. Cashman was solid. Lehman, Recchi hit 30 goals. 55 points, 21 goals for Neil Madsen. Oof. Maybe not the number 1 center I was hoping he'd be. Hayden Fowler, 46 points. And that 4th line was relatively solid. Just 1 goal for the center, Cyrus Burish. Defensively, Drysdale probably just won a Norris again. Delmas and Bales were both fantastic. And then Goran, Suter, and McInnes were fine, if not great. And goaltending-wise, I think Howard Lowe is the starter, but short leash. Short leash if Tristan Lennox is going to play like that. A very short leash indeed is Andre Molnar, Stuart Ling, Matt Boldy. Top options, Connor McDavid. Now on the Calgary Flames at 38 years old, his first season on the other side of the Battle of Alberta. Nearly 1,600 games played on the dot, over 1,900 points. Good God. Goal-scoring king was Yahir Lombardi in Colorado. Defensively, Drysdale likely just won it, unless Dahlin takes it for the better plus-minus. And then goaltending-wise, 50 wins for Askarov in Minnesota. Save percentage leader for a starter as Askarov. Hands down, going to win the Vezina, unless it somehow goes to Tyrone Hoffman, which it shouldn't. Calder is going to go to George Goddard, or perhaps Jorge Goddard. So, we know it's Buffalo, and we know what this team's capable of. But the question now, ball's in your court here for what again could prove to be our last playoff run. Do we base this team off of who performed the best, or do I try to maximize the chemistry amongst these forwards? Let me know what you think. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Again, interesting to see what will happen here now that we have that little bit of an extra month and the extra time before the new game comes out. What we look to do, whether or not, hey, we just see this through or we start up a short-term series for that month. We'll figure it out. But for now, we end this here on the verge of another playoff attempt. Please, God, let us find success.